And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We have a great show for you today. As always, be sure to follow me on Twitter at Takes by Fans. Be a part of the conversation and come watch live daily, noon Eastern at twitch.tv/Takes by Fans or at our official website, takesbyfans.com/watch. However you decide to watch, just make sure you're watching for all your daily sports content. Alrighty, today is a Monday after a full day of NFL games yesterday. We had some pretty good ones. That Sunday night football game between the Cardinals and the Seahawks was absolutely fantastic. A little disappointed that Russell Wilson threw 3 interceptions and he was not clutch down the stretch. Unfortunately, when have we seen Russell Wilson not be clutch? So truly unfortunate that they got the L. We will have to adjust our power rankings accordingly. If you lose, hey, we got to take you down a little bit. New number 1 now since the Steelers beat the Titans. So we are going to have a lot up top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How deep are we going with these moves? But all those will be unveiled tomorrow once we get the entire Week 7 done. We still have Monday Night Football. So until then, we really can't, update our cash or trash list. And we really can't move any teams on the power rankings just quite yet, but that is all coming tomorrow. Today, we have to go through every single game and get a good foundation to talk about them on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Thursday, Friday, we start to talk about Week 8. But today is Monday. Not trying to, skip around too much. We still got to talk about Week 7. So we will get into all that. But first, we have 2 quick articles. Two quick stories we got to run through. Ron Rivera is done with cancer. How incredible is this? It just seemed like he had cancer. It was like literally like I think a couple days before the first game was kicking off that he came out and said that he was diagnosed with cancer and that he was still going to get treatment, still going to be the head coach, but he's going to get treatment, during coaching. He was getting IVs at half times during games. So well done to beat cancer. I mean, it's a huge feat, and this man's tough as nails. I mean, he's an Army vet. He was coaching in the league and getting IVs at halftime, winning games. He's won 2 games. He's 2 in. They just won yesterday, and they beat the Eagles Week 1, so he's won 2 games while going cancer treatment. So props up to Ron Rivera. Well done. Very speedy recovery, and you love to see it. What was it, like 7 weeks? So absolutely fantastic. Well done by him. I mean, really, Washington really should be the favorite for the division. I mean, if your players are not going to play even harder now watching what their leader, their coach went through, I don't know what's going to. So expect Washington to really just kind of be solid all season like they kind of have been already. They're not trash. They're not great. They're just solid for what the team is. No star players, first-year head coach, organization that is just drowning in freaking stories every single year of sexual harassment. So like the owners, the management is just corrupt from the top to the bottom. So I mean, Washington is doing very good this season for what this team is. So well done, Ron Rivera, for getting your troops ready to battle any given Sunday. You love to see it. All right, and then the second story, the one you hate to see, Odell Beckham tore his ACL, done for the season, and you hate to see it. Odell Beckham, one of the best wide receivers in the league, a fantastic talent, a highlight reel, just absolutely fantastic player, and it sucks to see him go down, especially of how he went down. Baker Mayfield throws the interception, Odell Beckham goes to make the tackle. Rest is history. So, just a hustle play. Nobody can deny this man's efforts. He was, tore his ACL on a tackle as an offensive wide receiver. When does that happen, right? So, just truly unfortunate for him. Luckily for the Browns, I mean, they have a lot of talent, I guess, but it still sucks when you lose your number 1 wide receiver. It's never easy. Baker Mayfield somehow won the game without him, so that's a silver lining if there is one in this story. But for Odell Beckham personally, this sucks. Take a year off now, having to rehab, having to try and get back at the level of play that you can get back on. So it just sucks for Odell Beckham. We're not going to see, the big catches, the big plays. We all loved that Dallas Cowboys-Browns game because Odell Beckham was throwing the ball. He was rushing the ball. He was catching the ball. It was just so fun to watch because a superstar doing superstar things is fun to watch. And we got to saw him do his thing and everything and more, his thing and more against the Cowboys. It's unfortunate that his season ends like this. We'll see what the Browns can do, though. Alrighty, that brings us to our main topic for today, the Sunday game of slate of games, and we had some good ones. Just going through the list quickly: Eagles, Giants, we'll get there. Lions, Falcons, unfortunate Falcons once again, we'll get there. Browns, Bengals, hey, he does it. He does not have a first couple of series, but he gets it figured out, so well done Baker Mayfield. We'll talk about that. Packers, Texans, I was off on. I'm sorry. This was one of our locks picks. I did not think the Texans would only score 20 points, and I kind of should have saw Aaron Rodgers just being absolutely fantastic and putting up 35 points. That's what we really should have expected, but I thought the Texans offense would have been a little bit more competitive, and they really weren't. This game was never really close. It was like 20-0, then it was like 21-7, and then it was like 28-14, and then 35-20. It was just never a close game. I thought the Texans would give more fight. They're at home. Things are kind of going good. They put up 66 points in 2 games, and now they put up 20. So now we have to kind of once again take a step back on the Titans. I think I overbought them a little bit, so now I got to take a bigger step back. We can't trust this Texans team. It's unfortunate, just kind of their schedule this year has kind of been really tough. Their coach has gotten in the way. We'll see what the Texans can do next year, but this year is looking like a true wrap, unfortunate. Panthers, Saints, all right. I thought for losing or not having Emmanuel Sanders and Michael Thomas, Saints did pretty good, put up 27 points. We had them -7. They only win by 3. Unfortunate, but the defense could not stop Carolina for the entire game. We'll get to it when we talk that. Bills, Jets, another lull. We'll get there. Cowboys, Washington, another lull. We'll talk about it when we get there. Cardinals, Seahawks, one of the best games of the night. Truthfully, fantastic performance. Did not like Russell Wilson throwing 3 interceptions. So Chiefs, Broncos, Broncos, Chiefs. This game went exactly how you thought this game would go. Chiefs coming off of a win, but looking to dominate, to get back on track, and they did. 49ers, Patriots, oh boy, I'm off Cam. We'll get to it when we get there. Bucks, Raiders, oh boy, I was off on this one as well. I thought the Raiders would be a little bit more competitive offensively, but we know that maybe they are just kind of an up and down team. We can't really pay too much attention to the Raiders, whereas the Bucks, it's time to put them on the top 10. Steelers, Titans, I like that this game was close. I did not kind of like how the game was close. We'll get to it when we talk it. Jaguars, Chargers, we called this game perfectly. Chargers put up 40 points. Justin Herbert looks very good. Justin Herbert off a bye. This was the only game we were right about this week that we bet. We were right about the Steelers-Titans. Thought it would be close, but we liked the Steelers with the +1, so that one hit. So you're right about a couple of the games, not a lot of the games that we bet, which are the games that really matter, right? So unfortunate. But here we go. Let's dive a little bit deeper into all these games, get us a nice little baseline for the rest of the week, and here we go. We are going to start now with Eagles, Giants, because that was Thursday. We start here. Lions, Falcons, and unfortunate for the Falcons. This game was very close throughout. We'll start here with the Lions. Matt Stafford, 25 of 36, 340 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Fantastic there. The running game was pretty much non-existent. Adrian Peterson had 30 yards. DeAndre Swift had 27 yards. Barely got the 3 yards of carry. They ran it 20 times. Just nothing productive coming from the run game. And that's kind of what we know about the Lions. They don't do anything fantastic. They do everything kind of and that's why they're 3-3. That's why they don't really compete with the better teams. That's why they kind of, just are average. They put up some points. They could be competitive, but at the end of the day, it's really 50% chance if this team's going to win, and that's what we get from them. So well done to, Kenny Golladay, 114 yards receiving. Marvin Jones, 80 yards receiving. Danny Amendola, 62 yards receiving. So the receivers had themselves a pretty good day. DeAndre Swift here, 21 yards receiving. They threw it to him 5 times. So just trying to get everybody included in the offense, but just really no big plays. It was just kind of We've had some big, this was either This game came down to you're going to have a long drive or a very, very quick drive, and I'll tell you what I mean. Nothing really was getting going in the first quarter. A lot of 3 and outs, a lot of quick possessions. 2 minutes 30 seconds, a minute 47, a minute 49, and then here comes the 4-minute 40-second drive that results in a touchdown. And then we barely have a 2-minute drive. We got 56 seconds, a minute 37 seconds, and then Atlanta goes on their big drive. 5 minutes 48 seconds, ends in a touchdown. A couple of turnover on downs here. 4-minute drive that results in a turnover on downs. 5-minute drive, almost 6. Call it 6-minute drive, ends in a touchdown. 7-minute drive by the Lions here to start the third quarter to bring it a 1-point game, and then a lot of quick drives. We got the 2-minute 47 seconds, and then the Lions not even touching it for a full minute. I mean, what is going on with these short drives? I've never seen this many short drives in a game. But then it's time for Atlanta's big drive. They go on a 7-minute drive that results in a turnover on downs, and then the Lions go on a 4-minute 30-second drive that results in a missed field goal, and then we got a couple of 2-minute drives to end out the game, and luckily for the Lions, they're the last one with the ball, and they end up winning by a point. And it's just unfortunate how they won, because the Falcons once again had a lead with not a lot of time left. You hate to see it. So Falcons are driving, trying to eat up all the clock they can, and they're in the position where they're in Detroit's red zone on Detroit's 13 here. They're only down 2 points, so a field goal wins them the game. The Lions are running out of timeouts. It's just unfortunate that we get Todd Gurley rushes in for the touchdown. So let's break down this game really quickly. We're only going to show one play because this was the game the Falcons had it in their hand, but unfortunately Todd Gurley crosses the goal line when he really did not want to. Truly unfortunate. So here it is. Here's the play. Time is running down. The Falcons just picked up a first down. Lions have no timeout, so all the Falcons need to do at this point with a minute and 12 seconds left is, just rush the ball, bring the clock down to 1 second, and then kick this short field goal. They're at the 10. I mean, folks, this is a chip shot field goal, but what does Todd Gurley do? Just unfortunately, he gets so through the first hole that he sees the end zone and he tries to pull up on the last second, but the Lions just let him score because they're like, if you don't score now, all you guys are going to do is just run out the clock, kick the field goal, and we lose. So unfortunately, Todd Gurley tries to give himself up, but just the momentum carries him forward into the goal line. He crosses over. That's a touchdown. Now there's a minute left for Matt Stafford, and we all know what Matt Stafford can do. He's got the big arm. That's why he's still in the league, right? That's why he's still a starter, and they go 75 yards in a minute and 4 seconds and kick a game-winning field goal to win by 1 point. So another unfortunate loss for the Falcons. We've seen so many of them. Just truly unfortunate. They really didn't turn the ball over. They had one turnover, fumble that led to a field goal. So once again, unfortunate. You lose by 1, you give up 3. I mean, you can look at that being the game, and it's unfortunate. Just everything about this Falcons team is unfortunate. We've got to stop picking them. We've got to stop, buying into them. It's just truly unfortunate. They've lost. They're 1-6 now. 1-6. Season is 100% over. They're not winning 9 straight games, ending 10-6. And even in the NFC, a 10-6 record, even with this extra wild card spot, you're probably not getting in. So truly unfortunate for this Falcons team. They'll look to rebuild. Luckily, they have a lot of special talent on their team that they just need, like a head coach or something, to just install like game scenarios, because Todd Gurley should have known to not score there and shouldn't have been at that situation where he's on the goal line and then hesitates and then tries to fall back, but it's already too late. So this team just needs a lot of situational management training, what to do when we're up 20, what to do when we're up 10, what to do when we're driving with a minute left and we're on the 10 and we're only down 2, what to do in these situations, because everybody just looks lost when it comes to, hey, we're up. All right, now what do we do? The goal is to win the game. We're winning the game. Now what? Does somebody stop the game because we're winning? Hey, ref, we're winning. Is it over? Oh, there's still 24 minutes left. All right, but what do we do now? Like, somebody just needs to teach this team, this Atlanta team, just situational management, because they have the worst. And it proves it here. So I really don't know what to do with Atlanta. We've got to stop taking them. We've got to stop buying into them. That's the only course of option right now. Matt Ryan, 31 of 42, 338 yards, a touchdown, no picks. Todd Gurley, 63 yards. He averaged only 2.7 yards a carry. That's not great. That's truly not even good. It's close to good, but it's not good. Unfortunate. Julio Jones, 97 yards. Calvin Ridley, 70 yards. They were doing, the top two receivers were the top two receivers. That's what you want to see. Calvin Ridley with a touchdown. We always know we can count on him to get it done, but still Julio Jones not getting touchdowns. It's just real weird. He's your number one receiver. He will go up and get it. He's 6'5". Throw this man the ball. Falcons can't beat the Lions at home with this star-studded offense. They really got nothing done. Nobody was rushing for over 100 yards. Nobody was receiving for over 100 yards. I know Julio Jones was close with 97. I get it. It's just something about this Falcons team, man. They just don't win games. I don't get it. All right, let's move on to the Browns and the Bengals, and it was real easy if you were on Twitter early in the day yesterday that everybody was, clowning Baker Mayfield. He was 0 for 5 and not getting it done, and did he have an interception on his first throw? You bet your ass he did, because that's Baker Mayfield, baby. That's what he brings to the table. He brings a lot of hit and miss, hot and cold, but hey, at the end of the day, this man ended on hot, and that's how you want to do it. So he started 0 for 5, and then ended the day 22 of 28 for 297 yards, 5 touchdowns, incredible, 1 interception. You love to, see that by Baker Mayfield. It's unfortunate that it was against the Bengals and they were down kind of big. What was the score at one point? We're talking about 7-0. All right, so it wasn't ever too big. It was just that the Bengals were always the ones scoring first. It would be the Bengals scored, then the Browns are playing catch up, then the Bengals scored, then the Browns are playing catch up. Until we get to the fourth quarter, then the Browns really start putting it on. And if you look at these drive possessions here by the Browns, we'll go through them. First one's the interception, then the second one's a punt, but then the third possession they start scoring points. That comes to field goal. All right, now we get into the second quarter. They score a touchdown on a 7-minute, 30-second drive, basically ate up the entire second quarter. They go into halftime, come out. Look at this touchdown. 4 drives, 4 touchdowns in the second half. I love it. Kevin Stefanski, Baker Mayfield getting on the same page and just rolling through the remainder 2 quarters of the game coming out of halftime, and that's something that you love to see. Look at these long drives ending in touchdowns. 5 minutes, 28 seconds, 75 yards. You love to see it. 74 yards, 4 minutes, 38 seconds. You love to see it. 75 yards, 3 minutes, 52 seconds, 75 yards, 55 seconds, getting quicker as the game progressed. But got to give it up to Baker Mayfield a little bit here. 5 touchdowns is very impressive. Being down and overcoming that adversity, losing OBJ, very, very, you love to see it. So, well done, Baker Mayfield. We're not, overbuying Baker Mayfield or this Browns team. They did this against the Bengals. We know the Bengals aren't anything special. They struggle to win games. Yes, they have flashy offense. Joe Burrow can get it done. Joe Burrow threw this ball 47 times. It's truly funny watching some teams kind of protect their franchise quarterbacks, like what we saw with the Dolphins do with Tua. Week 7, don't even want to start him. All right, week 8, after the bye, we're 3-3. We'll start you. Bengals are like, hey, Joe Burrow, you're a rookie quarterback. Get the fuck in the game and throw the ball 50 times. We don't care. Sink or swim, baby. And so far, he's been swimming. Individually, the team overall is sinking. They're 1-5-1. But Joe Burrow, pretty great game. 35 of 47, 406 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. If you're throwing the ball 47 times, I think we can forgive 1 interception, right? Same thing with really Baker Mayfield. Maybe not really. I think I said that a little early. Should have checked it. He only threw the ball 28 times, so nowhere near 47. And Joe Burrow still had only one interception, so that's very promising. He doesn't really turn the ball over for how many times he's actually throwing the ball, because they're in Cincinnati. They love to have him just throw it so many times. We can go back to, every single game. This man's throwing it 30 times at least. It's truly wild. The running game was nothing spectacular because they're missing their number one running back. So they're rocking with Giovanni Bernard, who's been, with Cincinnati Bengal, I think, for his entire career, basically. So he's still there, but he really couldn't do anything, only 37 yards. But, let's look at these receiving numbers because a lot of people got involved for some big yards. I mean, Tyler Boyd, A.J. Green, both had 13 targets. So, I mean, when we look at who he was throwing to, out of the 47 times, 26 of them were to, his big targets. Tyler Boyd is what? 6'2". A.J. Green, I think it's 6'1", but he's got some good jump. He might be 6'2". He's 6'4". What am I talking about? The man. So, Joe Burrow, he likes his tall weapons, throwing to them a lot. So this game just came down to Baker Mayfield getting sick of it and throwing touchdowns and looking good. I mean, he wanted to look good. We'll talk more of this game in depth on Wednesday when we can actually look at Baker Mayfield and what he's doing compared to Joe Burrow. But I mean, if you throw 5 touchdowns, something's going right. And if you're scoring on every single possession in the second half, that's absolutely fantastic as well. So well done to the Browns. This is a good momentum building win. This isn't anything that's going to change my mind about what the Cleveland team is in general. They're having success against the lesser teams, and they're not having success over the better teams. So I really don't care about them in that sense, but I do like to see Baker Mayfield throw these 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. But after last week, can we really even look at it as good numbers? I don't know. We'll give them a little bit of credit, just not too much. How about that? All right, let's move on. Green Bay and Houston. I was off about this game. I did not think the Texans offense would come out and lay a stinker, kind of like they did. I mean, they didn't even get their first points until the second half. Not great. Where they went on, this is an impressive drive here. 11 plays, 65 yards, 6 minutes coming out of halftime. So, regathering the troops. We're down 21-0. Something's got to give. And this is a fantastic drive here. This shows a lot of coaching and a lot of good leadership, whether it be from the coaches or the players. But this is a good sign, trending up for the Texans. Unfortunately, I cannot read any more into these Texan signs. I've been doing it these first 7 weeks, and it really hasn't, done me any justice with them going 1-6, unfortunately. So, the Texans here, pretty good drive here, but everything else, I mean, they go back to 3-and-out on their next drive. They have to settle for field goals. When you're already down 21-0, you really can't settle for field goals in the second half, especially when Aaron Rodgers is still continuing to score, 28 points now. I mean, the Packers team basically went, 50% on their drives. They'd go out and score a touchdown. All right, then we punt. All right, now we're back with the touchdowns. Now we're back with the punt. I mean, here we go. Let's look at their drives. Touchdown, punt. 50%. Touchdown, punt. Touchdown. They didn't get it because at the end of half. They open up with the touchdown, back to the punt, block, punt, touchdown on the fourth quarter. So basically every other time Green Bay was getting the ball, Aaron Rodgers was making sure they were going for touchdowns, and he was the reason why. 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions, back to classic Aaron Rodgers. We can take this Green Bay game on Wednesday. We like to do the first 5 weeks when Aaron Rodgers was playing absolutely fantastic. We like to just watch a random Aaron Rodgers drive and appreciate the greatness. So hopefully we can get back to that segment on Wednesdays when we look at our film study days. So Aaron Rodgers back to a fantastic game. I should have known. 23 of 34, 283 yards and 4 touchdowns. Plus Davante Adams was back in the game, and Aaron Rodgers was like, yeah, using, our entire depth of receivers since Davante Adams was out. That was fun, but I want my number one receiver back, and that's exactly what he did. I mean, out of 283 yards, Davante Adams caught 196 of them. So, I mean, Aaron Rodgers was just targeting this man. Davante Adams had 16 targets. The next highest wide receiver had 5. So, folks, he was just slinging it to Davante Adams, kind of like how Kyler Murray just likes to swing it to DeAndre Hopkins. So Davante Adams, 196 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's back, and he's better than ever, and Aaron Rodgers is loving having him back. Let's go back to the Texans here. Didn't really talk a lot about their stats, but 29 of 39 for 309 yards and 2 touchdowns for Deshaun Watson. No interceptions. I mean, they only had one turnover with David Johnson fumbling, and it didn't lead to anything because it was literally like the last play of the game. So, I mean, kind of a clean game and no turnovers. I don't think the Packers turned it over at all, and they didn't. So, I mean, one turnover for the Texans that resulted literally in nothing because it was the last play of the game, basically. And, they still lose by 15 big points. I was not expecting that. The running game for the Texans really did not get anywhere. David Johnson, 14 carries for 42 yards. I'm a big fan of David Johnson. I think he's a solid running back, but it's just maybe this Texans offensive line is not very good. David Johnson should not be averaging, 3 yards a carry every single game. I think he's better than that. So we have to start looking about what's going wrong with this Texans team, and it may be the offensive line. It really shouldn't be any of these offensive weapons. Deshaun Watson at quarterback, David Johnson at running back, Randall Cobb, Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller, Kenny Stills, 4 big wide receivers, and they all kind of got it done here. At least 2 of them, Randall Cobb, 95 yards, Brandon Cooks, 60 yards, Will Fuller, 35, Kenny Still 34. So, I mean, their big wide receivers were still getting into it. It's just, it didn't translate to points, and it's just unfortunate this Texans team is not as good as kind of we all predicted it would be. Just truly unfortunate. All right, so the Green Bay win big. All right, here we go. Steelers, Titans, and all right, I like that the game ended close. I like that it was only a 3-point game, but I didn't like how it actually went down. So, I mean, basically the first half was all Steelers. They come out 14-0. That's kind of what we've seen the Steelers team do kind of week in and week out, is scoring early, first quarter, first drive, second drive, getting it done, going up 10-0, 14-0, 7. They're looking good and they're scoring off the rip. That means they're getting coached. Their coaching is very well. So well done to Mike Tomlin for getting this kind of younger team, younger, not so many egos to deal with team. So he's getting everybody on the right track, getting everybody ready to play come Sunday at 1:00 game time. Everybody is ready to go. So I love that with the Steelers. So the Steelers, they ended up going 24-7, bro. They got up big and they were scoring, and scoring 24 points in the first half is absolutely magnificent. Keeping the Titans to only 7 points in the first half is absolutely magnificent. So first half was all Steelers, but then second half it was all Titans. Truly, and I don't like how it was. One half was good for this team, one half was good for this team. We can't really learn anything from that because who looked good at the end of the game? It was the Titans. It was. But who looked good in the first half? It was the Steelers. I wanted, Steelers, a good Steelers drive, maybe a bad Titans drive, but then the Titans' next drive is very good. The next Steelers drive is bad, but then the next one after that is good. And, I kind of wanted this game to go back and forth, not, Steelers first half, Titans second half. Who had the better who had the better half? That's basically what the game came down to. And luckily for the Steelers, I mean, Titans, it was all Titans second half. They forced 3 interceptions by Big Ben in the second half. Luckily for the Steelers, that the Titans could not cash in. Now, that is a little bit of a red flag. You need to cash in on turnovers, especially when there's 3 of them, especially when you're getting 3 all in the second half. Let's run through these interceptions real quickly. The first one started in the second quarter, but this was basically end of half here. 14 seconds left. Hail Mary kind of attempt on Tennessee's 37. He tries to, throw the ball here, and it's intercepted. But it's, there's no time for the Titans to do anything, so they can't get any points out of it. That's one interception. The other interception only led to 3 points, and the third interception led to, unfortunately, the missed field goal that cost them the tie to go back into overtime. They would have went to back-to-back overtime games. A nice little short field goal. I mean, we're only talking 45 yards, folks, and it is unfortunately missed. So you hate to see it. 3 interceptions, only 3 points out of it. They had, a chance to take this interception, kind of, run it for the game. I mean, the Steelers were on a drive to kind of put the game away. They were on a 16-play, 82 yards, 7-minute, 38-second drive to kind of ice the game. Big Ben gets them into the 19-yard line, throws an interception. You hate to see it. They had the chance to ice the game at that moment. Big Ben throws the pick. Titans have a last chance to score, and they don't take it. So, well done by the Steelers to, win the game. That's what you want to do every Sunday, is just win the game no matter what. And they won the game no matter what. Big Ben has kind of been dinking and dunking this season. And when he tried to open it up, he got picked off. So not the best kind of sign there. But they won the game. They beat the number 1 seed in my power ranking. So do we put them at number 1? Seattle lost. Who else do we put in that number 1 spot? So I've got a lot to think about. I'm thinking about putting maybe Green Bay very high, maybe back to number 2 where they possibly belong. But there will be a lot of shuffling going around. Green Bay is going to move up. Titans are going to move back a little bit. Seahawks are going to move back a little bit. The Bucs are going to get on the list. Are they on the list here currently? No, so the Bucs will be able to get on here. But, a lot of shuffling around. Some close games, some blowout games that all translate to we gotta move top 10 around a little bit. But let's finish talking this game really quickly. James Conner had an absolutely fantastic game, 82 yards, 4 yards a carry. Love to see it. Juju Smith-Schuster back catching a lot of passes. You love to see that. Nine receptions for 85 yards. No touchdown still for Juju, but he's still creating other opportunities for their other receivers, so you love to see it. James Washington, he didn't have any catches, but he's still very good. Unfortunate that he did not have any catches. Chase Claypool had 1 catch for -2 yards. So the Steelers team, they're finding ways to win games with different pieces, with new pieces. Eric Ebron's a fantastic safety valve for Big Ben. I see him dumping it off to him time and time again. Eric Ebron, 6 receptions for 50 yards. You love to see that. But just getting a lot of players involved, different players every game involved in winning different ways. So here we see Big Ben dink and dunk his way to victory. 32 completions for only 260 yards, folks. I mean, that's under the 10 yards a pass you kind of want to see. So a lot of dink and dunk. Let's go to the Titans here. Talk about their stats. Ryan Tannehill, 18 of 30. Not great there. Not a huge completion percentage, but 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. The Titans played an absolutely clean game. Did not turn the ball over once. You love to see that. Whereas Big Ben turned it over 3 times. But the fact that the Titans didn't win because of those stats, I mean, that should have been the main story. Steelers turn it over 3 times. Titans turn it over none, and Titans win the game. That should have been the story, but well done to the Steelers, not turning it over in the worst times imaginable, where we see a lot of other teams do that. The Browns do that, the Falcons do that, the Steelers do not do that. If Big Ben is going to turn the ball over, it's going to be in the best case scenario for the Steelers. End of halves. No time really left on the clock. You have to settle for the field goal. So well done there. But we see Ryan Tannehill with 220 yards, respectable. Derrick Henry with 75 yards and a touchdown, respectable. A.J. Brown, Ryan Tannehill is absolutely loving this man. 8 targets, 6 receptions for 153 yards and a touchdown. Their best wide receiver by far. Titans just tried to hang in the game. Try to make their move in the second half. That's kind of what we saw last week. They made their move in the second half, got down in the third quarter, fourth quarter. They come and open it up and win the game. Unfortunately, they just cannot do it here. I mean, these last 3 weeks for the Titans have been pretty tough. I mean, Bills, who they have last week, Texans, Steelers. Yes, they were all at home for those games, which should have made it a little bit easier. But still, I mean, that's kind of a tough kind of 3-game stretch. The Bills were very good at that point before the Titans kind of knocked them down a peg. The Texans were coming off of their 1 win, feeling very good, a lot of momentum. Steelers coming in 5-0, looking to be the best team in the league. So, I mean, we can't blame too much on this Titans team. I'm not going to penalize them too much for losing this game close. They were in it. They had the chance. 45-yard field goal should have been, automatic. This game should have went into overtime, and maybe we're talking about the Titans coming back to win. But, we have to live in this reality. Steelers win it by 3 because, they were able to get out to a hot start and just kind of sit on it, and well done by their defense to, forcing the Titans to, go for it here. Turnover on downs. Nope, don't. Let me backtrack on that one. That was the end of half. Turnover on downs. Yeah, but well done. Just to bend but don't break. Steelers defense only give up 24 points. Allowed this kind of 4th and 3 field goal from Pittsburgh 28. They were like, all right, they're in our territory, but let's just hold them to a field goal. Maybe they miss it. We're not going to let them win the game in regulation. We shut that down. 4th and 3. Make the kick. They don't. Steelers, well done. Bend but don't break defense. Good game to watch. Great game. Unfortunately, I just did not like first half it was Steelers, second half it was Titans. Just did not like the way that this game kind of shook out 27-24. All right, let's move on. Here we go. Panthers, Saints, and Saints without their best two wide receivers looked decent. I mean, they put up 27 points. I don't think they punted at all this game. Let's look at both of these teams' drive charts because I think the Panthers punted once in this game. That was the only punt. So here we go. First quarter, couple of long drives. Saints get out to an 8-minute drive, 7-0. That's what happens when you lose your two best wide receivers, Emmanuel Sanders, Michael Thomas, both not playing for the Saints. So you have to find other ways to get the ball around. It's going to be a long, methodical drive, and it was 14 plays, 8 minutes. Then the Panthers come out 4 minutes, close to 5, ends in a field goal. Saints back out, 5-minute drive, ends in a touchdown. They're up 14-3, but the Panthers come back and answer quickly from this huge pass. It was absolutely wide open. Teddy Bridgewater was just playing pitch and catch on this huge pass. Threw it from the own 20, got to about the 35-yard line, about 45 yards in the air. All arm strength. You love to see it, but he was absolutely wide open, and this brought the Panthers back into the game. I mean, they were down 14-3 at this point, and that quick drive definitely helped them out. They now are only down by 4, 14-10, and then Drew Brees fumbles the ball. Unfortunate, and they were driving on Carolina's own 25-yard line. Drew Brees gets sacked and fumbles. You hate to see that. And Carolina takes advantage and comes out with a touchdown. Now they're up 17-14 off the fumble, but it's Drew Brees, and you left too much time on the clock. And right before halftime, Drew Brees goes down and scores a touchdown, 21-17, reclaiming the lead. This was the only punt in the game, and it came the Panthers' first possession in the second half. They go and punt the ball. Saints answer with a field goal. Panthers answer with a touchdown to tie the game at 24. Saints can only answer with a field goal again. I mean, look at these drives, folks. Saints 13 plays, 7 minutes, only a field goal. Saints again 13 plays, 7 minutes, only a field goal. Not the best, not the greatest. And then with time winding down, only 8 minutes left in the game at this point. Panthers are down 27-24. You would think at this point, I mean, there's only one drive left, 8 minutes left. The way that these teams have been driving the ball, it's only going to be one time left, and that's kind of what it was. Panthers go all the way down. They're making their way down the field. They're in New Orleans territory. Unfortunately, Teddy Bridgewater takes a huge sack, -8 yards, so now they have to go and take a 65-yard field goal to tie the game. You heard me right. 65-yard field goal attempt. The record is 64 yards. Nobody has ever made anything more, and we get a potential history-setting, game-tying field goal. And this is where I buy a little credit into Matt Rule as a coach just a little bit. Let me cue up this game a little bit. I just want to replay the final 2 plays for the Panthers here. Here we go. All right, so let's set the scene here. 2 minutes, 26 seconds left. Clock is winding down. Panthers have one timeout, and they're down 3, but they're in the Saints territory at the 39-yard line. So here we go. Teddy Bridgewater is going to go back to pass. Everything is going right, but it's 3rd and 11, and he goes down and takes a sack. So unfortunately, the clock still runs. Panthers don't use their timeout. 2-minute warning comes and goes. Next play for the Panthers. They have to just settle for this long field goal. I mean, Matt Rule could have just went for this. It's 4th and 18. I mean, nobody's ever made a 65-yarder, so why do you think your kicker can go and do it right now in this moment? So I give Matt Rule a ton of respect for attempting this field goal. I think this is kind of the right decision, playing on 4th and 18, hoping you kind of catch the pass or maybe just get bailed out by a penalty. He believes in his kicker, and he goes for the game-tying field goal from 65 yards out. Now let's watch this kick, folks. Let's watch this kick. You have never seen a prettier 65-yard kick in your entire life, I promise you. Saints, do not ice them. I think that is always a bad call. I think you always ice them. But it's up and it's nearly just short, folks. This would have hit from 63. This would have hit from 64. But from 65, that extra yard, that extra 3 feet, here it is. Just watch this ball just drop off right before the crossbar. So close from 65. That would have tied the game for the Panthers, but unfortunately the kick misses. All the Saints need to do now is get a first down. They don't even really need the first down. They do get the first down, and that's all she wrote, and that's how the Saints kind of hold on without their 2 best wide receivers. So here we go. Let's start with the Saints stats here. Drew Brees, 29 of 36, efficient, 287 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. You love to see it. Alvin Kamara, 14 carries for 83 yards, and then Latavius Murray had 11 carries for 47 yards. So the running back was getting it done by committee. You love to see it. Both running backs combined for over 100 yards. Every rusher was over 3 yards a carry. You love to see a good rushing game. Now let's talk about these receivers. Who was Drew Brees getting the ball to? Marquez Callaway, 75 yards. Alvin Kamara, obviously he was going to be high up there on the receiving charts because he's very good. So Alvin Kamara, 8 catches. He was thrown to 8 times, caught them all, 65 yards. Traquan Smith, 4 targets, 54 yards. Deontay Harris, 5 targets, 46 yards. Jared Cook, old reliable, huge tight end. You love to see him getting fed. 3 catches, 1 touchdown, 32 yards. So well done by Drew Brees, just figuring out, all right, who's left on the squad? Who do I have today? Marquez Callaway, Traquan Smith, Deontay Harris. All right, let's rock with the baby. I'm getting you guys the ball. They didn't shrink. They still threw it 36 times. They still put up 27 points, and they still won the game. Now let's go to the Panthers here. 23 of 28. Teddy Bridgewater is always efficient. 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. You love to see it. Mike Davis, their running game just could not do anything, folks. Look at this. Mike Davis, who has kind of been a very kind of good weapon for the Panthers since Christian McCaffrey has been out. Mike Davis, 7 carries for only 12 yards, folks. Not good. Average 1.7 yards a carry. Can't have that happen. Teddy Bridgewater was the second leading rusher with 10 yards, 2 carries for 10 yards. Trenton Cannon, 7 yards, 1 carry. So their running game just could not get anything done. Luckily for the Panthers, they have Teddy Bridgewater, and they have some good wide receivers, some solid, I would put kind of as number 2s. Excuse me, I don't really think of any of these receivers, DJ Moore or Robbie Anderson, as true number 1 receivers. We saw Robbie Anderson have decent success on the Jets when he was there. Now he's in Carolina, trying to assert himself as the number 1 wide receiver between DJ Moore, himself, and Curtis Samuel, all getting it kind of done. Teddy Bridgewater going to his wide receivers. You love to see it. But yeah, DJ Moore, 93 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's basically it. Panthers, long drives, no punts. Game got kind of over quickly. As we kind of know with Panthers games, they always kind of end quickly. Why? Because Teddy Bridgewater does not have a lot of incompletions. The clock doesn't stop. They pick up 3rd down conversions. Let's look at these third down conversions, actually. Third down efficiency. Carolina at 65%. In New Orleans at 85%. Truly, that is unbelievable. Truly. I wanted, how many third downs did both of these teams have? That's what I want to know. Where are the third down numbers? Because I don't see them. Unfortunate. All we know is the Saints completed 85% of their third downs. Wild. All right. Yeah. All right. So let's. Also, the Panthers only had one penalty all game for 5 yards. I don't know what you want me to do. So that's good coaching. I think I earned a little respect for Matt Rule. I'm starting to come around to Matt Rule's got his team 3-4. Teddy Bridgewater's looking good. They're always kind of competitive. The 65-yard field goal I can get behind. I think it's a good call. And the only having one penalty for the entire game on the road against the Saints, pretty good. But the Saints get the win at the end, 27-24. Unfortunately, Teddy Bridgewater makes the one crucial mistake in this game. No team was making any mistakes. No team was really turning the ball over. We had Drew Brees with the fumble, and then they cash in with a touchdown. So, turnover goes for 7 points. We have to give credit once again to the coaching of the Panthers. Seeing teams cash in on turnovers is coaching. Great play calling and great coaching, getting your team ready for the quick transition, and great play calling to take advantage of the quick transition as well. So, well done to the Panthers in that aspect, and well done to the Saints for winning the game. I was trying to make a point, and I think I got lost in it. The Teddy Bridgewater sack there takes him out 8 yards. I mean, he would have made it from 64, 63, 62, 61. So, I mean, if Teddy Bridgewater only got sacked for 7 yards, they go and make the 64-yard field goal, and we're talking about possibly overtime or a potential game-winning touchdown drive by the master Drew Brees, because there still would have been 2 minutes left, a minute and 50 seconds left after the field goal. That's plenty of time for Drew Brees to work with, no doubt. So the Saints get the win, 27-24. All right, moving on. Bills, Jets. Bills, 18 points. 18 points he put up against the Jets. The Dolphins put up 24. The Dolphins also gave up no points, where you gave up 10. Jets came out kind of firing early. They kind of came out. Their first possession in the second quarter, they go up and put a touchdown. They're up 10-0, kind of feeling like the Jets are going to win this game. Bills really could not do anything. Josh Allen, could not really put together any sustainable drives. He fumbles. I believe this fumble is him. Josh Allen gets sacked, fumbles, unfortunate. That's what we know about Josh Allen. Ball security is not his strongest suit. Fumble, lost it. That was his only fumble lost. He did not throw any interceptions. 30 of 43 for 307 yards. No touchdowns, no picks. It's just Josh Allen was also the leading rusher with 61 rushes, or 61 yards, 11 rushes. I don't like him rushing the football because he does fumble. Don't like it. There was also a couple of close calls of him fumbling while rushing too as well. We'll try to pick those out for Wednesday when we dive deeper into this Bills-Jets game, because why did the Bills only win by 8? Not great. Let's look at Sam Darnold real quick, because he didn't do anything. 12 of 23 for only 120 yards and 2 interceptions. I want to give a little credit to Adam Gase. I know you probably are wondering, why am I giving credit to Adam Gase? They've lost and they only put up 10 points. What is there to give Adam Gase credit for? Well, he did not call the plays this week, which is fantastic. I'm not a big fan of head coaches calling plays in the league. Obviously, there are exceptions to the rule. It's the Kansas City Chiefs head coach, Andy Reid. He's the only one that kind of is the exception to the rule, so I'm not really talking specifically to him when I say this, but Adam Gase should not be calling plays. Head coaches, you've got so much on your plate. You just need to make sure your team is solid and everybody is doing their job. Do not, put more on your plate by having yourself call plays on the sideline during Sunday's game. It's just too much in my opinion. Just delegate those responsibilities to an offensive coordinator you trust. You're the head coach, so bring in your own coaches, your own coordinators, people that you trust to make smart decisions. Maybe just have some input on the play calling. All right, it's 3rd and 10. I want a pass to the sideline. I don't want a screen pass. Then have your offensive coordinator draw up the best play for that. But so just situationally, I think head coaches should have input on defensive plays and offensive plays. Hey, I want to blitz here on 3rd and 3. I don't want to play conservative. Hey, 3rd and 5. I want to take the deep shot. I think that's when the head coaches should have some input, but not having the final say on plays. So they delegate the play calling, and it was seeming to be working. Field goal on their first drive, turnover on downs. I mean, they were driving on this. They got down to the Bills 18. It was 4th and 1. It was a solid drive attempt to, score 7. We were on this drive for 7 minutes. We don't want to just get a field goal. So they were still moving the ball. They were still being aggressive, and they were still putting up points. 2 out of the 3 possessions all scored points for them. So that's absolutely fantastic. But then we get an interception. Bills cashed it in with the field goal. Then we go into the second half, and then nothing was working for the Jets. 4 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Interception. So the Jets just could not get anything going in the second half, where the Bills were able to drive, but everything was stalling. 9 plays, 4-minute drive that ends in a field goal. 14 plays, 7-minute drive that ends in a field goal. Missed field goal, 7 play, 2 minutes, 41 seconds. 8 plays, 4 minutes, 30 seconds, ends in a field goal. So 8 plays, 3 minutes, ends in a field goal. So Josh Allen just could not continue to sustain drives, having to settle for field goals. Everything was field goals. It was kind of like the Broncos last week against the Patriots. This game kind of went exactly how that game went. Truthfully, now that I'm saying it, Broncos go and score 18 points, all field goals. Bills go score 18 points, all field goals. Jets trying, having opportunities to try and, to win the game. I mean, you only give up 18 points. Can we just put some drives together? I mean, they did not hold the ball much in the second half. I mean, look at this. Under a minute, 48 seconds, 43 seconds. A minute and 50 seconds, not even 2 minutes, a minute 37 seconds, a minute and 35 seconds. Those are all their drives in the second half. They were not holding onto the ball. They were not putting first downs together, stringing them together to put up points. And that's what hurt them. And I mean, when we look at the stats here, they just could not get anything done. I mean, the passing game was non-existent the entire game, 120 yards. What the heck? The running game was decent. I mean, you guys combined for 100 yards. Frank Gore was 60, 11 carries. And then Perine, I don't even know, Michael Perine, 11 carries for 40 yards, and a touchdown. So they were able to combine for 100 yards and a touchdown, but the passing game was truly non-existent. And I mean, when you lose your number one receiver, obviously the passing game is going to be a little worse, and it was. Sam Darnold could not find anybody. Unlike Drew Brees, losing his top 2 weapons, even though he still has good weapons to work with, he was still getting his ball to his receivers. Sam Darnold could not. Unfortunate. We'll go back to the Bills here for a second. Stephon Diggs, 48 yards, only 6 receptions. He was targeted 11 times, though. So Josh Allen trying to get the ball to his playmakers, just not accurate or whatever, but just cannot get it to him. We will have to break down this film a little bit, seeing how Josh Allen looks, but I can tell you it was not good. So, Bills fan, do we owe Josh Allen an apology for this game? I think y'all owe us an apology. Bills fans owe everybody else, a fan of everybody of all the other teams, an apology for having us kind of give you guys some attention here, barely being able to beat the Jets. All right, let's continue on. Another laughable game. This Cowboys team is truly trash, and you have to get rid of Mike McCarthy. What has really changed from this Dallas team from last year to this year? Not a lot on their roster, offensively or defensively. Offensively, they pretty much stayed the same. Defensively, yeah, they may have lost a piece here, a piece there. But truthfully, this Cowboys team should have kind of be the same team that they were last year. What is the one big change? The head coach. What has been coming out stories about the head coach starting from last week? I'm expecting more coming out this week. You only put up 3 points against Washington. You allow Washington to put up 25 points on you. We saw the Giants put up a ton of points on you, and now we're seeing Washington, who hasn't been able to score. They couldn't even put up 20 points against the Giants last week. They go and put up 25 here. So this Cowboys team is truly atrocious. I believe Eagles are at the top of this division now. I think I have it open. Do I have NFL standings open? Let's refresh this. Who's the number one in the NFC East? It is now the Eagles. Washington should be up there. They've won 2 games. Well, these probably Washington should be up here. It should be Eagles at 1, Washington at 2, and Cowboys are now third best in the NFC East. Washington, they beat the Eagles and they beat the Cowboys. So they should be number 2. Very close to that number 1 spot. Only the Eagles have that spot because they had the tie. All right, so let's see what Andy Dalton did before he got knocked out. He got knocked out late in the game, so try not to take that much into consideration. Be like, oh, well, Andy Dalton got knocked out. Now they're down to third-string quarterback. Of course they're not going to be competitive. He didn't even get knocked out until when? I mean, late third quarter, kind of like when Dak Prescott got knocked out, when he got knocked out in his game, late third quarter. Looks like it's right about here. 6 minutes left in the third quarter, so still halfway. They put up 3 points until that point, folks. They weren't moving the ball. They were down 22-3 at that point. The game was already over. There was no coming back. Andy Dalton could barely move the ball. 9 of 19, not even 50% for only 75 yards. 75 yards combined. They barely got over 100 yards combined passing. So atrocious, so pathetic. Look at this. And Ezekiel Elliott only rushed for 45 yards. Nothing was working. This is the sorriest attempt at offense I have ever seen a team play in the National Football League. This is truly atrocious. This is stomach turning. This is making me sick. Truly, this is making me sick. And Andy Dalton, he only turned the ball over once. It's not like they were turning the ball over and over again. They were fumbling, but they were getting it back, and it was basically their second string receiver or quarterback, or their third string quarterback and their second string Andy Dalton, both fumbling, but able to get the ball back. Let's go to Kyle Allen now. 15 of 25 for only 194 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Those are decent numbers for a second string quarterback, a non-starting quarterback in the league. These are fine stats. I would expect them to have a little bit better numbers because of how poor this Dallas Cowboys defense truly is. We see a lot of teams having success on them, putting up, basically 40 points every time somebody goes up against the Cowboys. So the fact that Washington's numbers are not, over the top great is a little bit concerning of what they can actually do offensively against, what would this Washington team look like if they went up against the Chiefs? I mean, truthfully, it would not even be close. So, Washington, not the best stats. I want something more. I want 200 yards from the passer when you're facing the Cowboys. Dwayne Haskins could probably do that. Not a big fan of Kyle Allen. I'm not a big fan of Dwayne Haskins either, but I don't think he should have been benched. Let's look at their running game. Antonio Gibson, look at this man go. 20 carries for 128 yards and a touchdown. The running game was on track all day. Terry McLaurin, who has been emerging as the number 1 wide receiver for Washington, absolutely magnificent. 7 receptions, 90 yards and a touchdown. Love to see it. Logan Thomas with 60 yards and a touchdown. So well done to them. It's just this Cowboys team was just truly trash, garbage, dumpster, garbage, unfortunate. This Cowboys team is just pure Woo! I don't even know. Worst team in the league. They're worse than the Jets. This Cowboys team is worse than the Jets, and they have talent on offense. I mean, folks, we're talking about Zeke. We're talking about Amari Cooper. We're talking about CeeDee Lamb. We're talking about Michael Gallup. Imagine what Sam Darnold would be able to do with this roster offensively. Just truly pathetic. Mike McCarthy has to go. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. Say you made the wrong call. Admit you made a mistake for once, Jerry. Take him out. Make Mike McCarthy be fired. Get him out of there. He's ruining this organization that's already not great. Not good. Get him out of there. All right. Chiefs absolutely blow out the Broncos in snowy weather. Patrick Mahomes, 15 completions for only 23 attempts, 200 yards and 1 touchdown. So they weren't looking to put up 43 points. They just did. They just put up 43 points. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, not a great game, but 46 yards. He averaged about 6 yards a carry, so that's good. But only 8 carries for 46 yards and a touchdown. Le'Veon Bell, his first game debut with the Chiefs, 6 carries for 40 yards. Nothing great, but his yards per carry were very good, 6.5. Definitely great. Receiving, nothing outstanding. A lot of people with some good yards. Mecole Hardman, 2 receptions for 57 yards. Tyreek Hill, 6 receptions for 55 yards. Nick Keizer, 2 receptions for 36 yards. Travis Kelce, 3 receptions for 31 yards. So a lot of their big-time playmakers getting the ball for decent yards. So what the heck happened? How did they score all these points when these stats would kind of say that they really shouldn't? I mean, their leading rusher was 46 yards and their leading receiver was 57, and somehow they put up 43 yards. So we get a nice little touchdown here by Clyde Edwards-Helaire to open up the scoring. You love to see that. And then they get a field goal, settle for a field goal, a pick 6. You love to see it. Then they go with another touchdown. What was this? Was this just kind of a kickoff return? It was a kickoff return. So, pick 6, interception return, defense scoring points, special teams scoring points. What else do we got? Another field goal by the offense, another field goal by the offense, settling. They get a nice little touchdown here. Finally coming in the fourth quarter. We know this. Patrick Mahomes loves to finally come alive in the fourth quarter. He did it here. And then Chad Henne. Oh, you love to see it. Long-time Miami backup gets in the game here. 2 completions, 2 attempts, 2 completions. You love to see that for 12 yards. And he's got a rushing touchdown. Where was his touchdown? Chad Henne, yes, a rushing touchdown for the man, so well done, and another touchdown. So Chiefs, they get a touchdown from a pick 6. They get another touchdown from a kickoff return, punt return. I think it was kickoff. So that's 14 points. You take 14 from the 43, and you're looking at, 29 points. So that's a little bit more accurate of what these stats tell, but just able to score every way possible. This is what we know about the Chiefs. We know their high explosive offense, and well done to their defense. Pick 6, interception of Drew Lock. 2 interceptions on Drew Lock. Only held him to 16 points, so well done there. Let's look at the stats from the Broncos here. Drew Lock, 24 of 40, 254 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Phillip Lindsay, 9 carries for 79 yards, fantastic. Melvin Gordon, 17 carries for 68 yards. So together, both of them were, gaining a ton of yards. You love to see that. Melvin Gordon with the touchdown. Drew Lock, a rushing touchdown himself. So, okay. All right, here we go. Receivers, Noah Fant, their probably best target. Tight end, 3 receptions for 38 yards. Albert Okwuegbunam, 7 receptions for 60 yards. Great name. But, yeah, just couldn't get it done. Jerry Jeudy, 2 receptions for 20 yards. Not great. But Melvin Gordon, he fumbles twice. Let's see if they cash in on the turnovers. Let's see. No. Their first fumble resulted in a punt. You don't like to see that. They cash in the interception. We knew that with the pick 6. And their second fumble results in a field goal. So they only cash in. Oh, they cash in pretty well. Second interception, the first one resulted in a pick six. The second one, the 49ers were able to get a touchdown out of it. So just kind of a blah game for the Broncos and a good game for the Chiefs. I mean, this was kind of an all-around good game by the Chiefs. All facets, offense, defense, special teams getting involved. All right, let's move on. Here we go, 49ers, Patriots, and we officially have to move off of this Patriots team. This Patriots offense, it's Cam Newton. We just can't buy it anymore. It's so dink and dunk, and it's so non-threatening. We never expect a deep shot. I wouldn't even play the deep shot. I would just press my defense the entire game. And Cam Newton, he goes 9 of 15 for 98 yards and 3 interceptions, no touchdowns. They have to bench him and bring Jarrett Stidham in, and he doesn't do anything because the game's already over at that point anyway. It doesn't really matter. But, just nothing was able to get going offensively for the Patriots here. What do we got? Going into halftime, they were down 23-3. Multiple interceptions here. Cam Newton throwing one. In the second quarter, he starts it, interception, and they're able to turn it in for a touchdown for the 49ers. And then he throws one more, but it's kind of at the end of the first quarter, or the first half, so it doesn't really matter. His third interception comes in the third quarter, and they're able to get a field goal out of it. And then Jarrett Stidham comes in and he throws an interception, and 49ers don't do anything with it. So just this Patriots offense is just so dink and dunk, and it's just so small and it's non-threatening, folks. We have to totally get off the Patriots. We can't buy Cam Newton anymore. I think his time in the league is unfortunately over. He just can't push the ball down the field. It's unfortunate. All right, Jimmy Garoppolo, 20 of 25. I mean, 5 incompletions for the entire game is good, but when you look at his rest of the stats, 277 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Luckily, they had a good running attack, 17 carries for 112 yards and 3 touchdowns, so that was working, but everything else was just not, unfortunately, for the 49ers, but luckily for them, they were facing a Patriots team whose quarterback, once again, or like the 49ers, could not put up the touchdowns. Nothing really too much to talk about. We'll look a lot into this game. We'll learn more by looking at it than we will by looking at these stats. We got to see how Cam Newton is looking. His stats are not looking good, and it will show up on the film, folks, because it is truly not explosive. It is truly dink and dunk. So we will look at that on Wednesday. Alrighty, Tampa Bay and the Raiders. 3 more games to go here, folks, and then we're out of here. But the Bucs are looking good. Tom Brady, 4 touchdowns, no picks, 33 of 45, 369 yards, getting it to his playmakers. Well, not really. Well, let's take a look at this. I mean, the Bucs, they get Antonio Brown. Why? You barely use Mike Evans. Look at these leading receivers for Tom Brady and the Bucs. All right, first one is Scott Miller. Anybody want to take a guess on how tall he is? I'll give you a hint. He's not even over 6 feet. He's 5'9". All right, this is who Tom Brady's throwing to. All right, now let's look at Chris Godwin. He's an actual wide receiver, and he's tall, but he's not the tallest. He's 6'1". It's average height. That's pretty good. So, all right, their third leading receiver. All right, who is it? It's a tight end. It's Rob Gronkowski. He's 6'6". I get it. He's big and tall. But why the heck is Mike Evans so far down on this list? This man, do I have to remind you of his height? He's 6'5", 230, folks. This is why you need to be getting Mike Evans the ball. He's tall. Scott Miller is your leading receiver, and he's 5'9". Tom Brady, you want help offensively, and you have help. Mike Evans, throw to him. I get you love Rob Gronkowski. He's your old buddy. He's 6'6", but he's a tight end. You bring in Antonio Brown. He hasn't played this game because they just brought him in. But why would you bring in Antonio Brown when you don't even use Mike Evans? You use Mike Evans on the goal line. He's got 2 catches here for 37 yards. He only has 2 targets in this game. Why are you not throwing to 6'5"? Why are you throwing to 6'9"? You targeted Scott Miller 9 times. You targeted Chris Godwin 9 times. 18 targets came to a wide receiver who's not even 6 foot tall, or a wide receiver who is basically 6'1", just 6 foot tall. I don't get it. And now you bring in Antonio Brown, and I do not get it. I don't get it. That's what Tom Brady likes to work with, tight ends and running backs, and just leaves big ol' 6'5" Mike Evans to receptions. I don't like it. All right. Raiders were a little bit not as good offensively as I thought they would be, which is a little disappointing. They got out to a good start, 7-0, ended up getting up to 10-7, but then they started to punt, and nothing really helped after that. Their next score came in the third quarter, where they went on a 6-play, 4-minute touchdown drive, and then the scoring seemed to get back on track a little bit. They score a field goal, so now they cut the lead down to 24-20 going into the fourth quarter. Everything was hunky-dory, but then the interception comes out, and Tom Brady cashes in on the interception, and they're able to score a touchdown off of it, and they scored a touchdown right before the interception, so game was out of hand after that. Tom Brady goes and scores one more just for, old time's sakes. Why not? Put the nail in the coffin. 45-20 is the final. And let's look at what the Raiders did. Derek Carr, 24 of 36, 284 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. All just all right. Nothing great. Their running game struggled very much so. Jalen Richard was their leading rusher for only 24 yards. Derek Carr had 2 rushes for 19 yards. Josh Jacobs, 10 carries for 17 yards. So Henry Ruggs, 1 rush for 10 yards, trying to get some trick play with Henry Ruggs to kind of jumpstart the offense, and that didn't work. So their rushing game just totally non-existent. Their receiving core, Nelson Aguilar, 107 yards. You love to see that. Henry Ruggs, only 35 yards, 3 receptions. We saw what he's been able to do, but they didn't feed him the ball, unfortunately. Hunter Renfrow just couldn't get anything really big to hit. 44 receptions for 42 yards, no touchdown. So just this Raiders offense, maybe I bought in them a little too much, but really from this week on, it's really starting to seem like the good teams are starting to pull away. The Titans, the Steelers, the Packers, the Bucks, the Chiefs are all really kind of establishing why they're the best teams in this league, where the Raiders, the Panthers, the Browns, who else do we got here? The Raiders. Who else do we got? Yeah, just kind of like those teams. They're, the 3-3 teams, the 2-3 teams that, think that, they were just starting to get on course are, have proven that this week that they're really not the real deal. Raiders, Browns, Houston, all these teams, they're not the real deal. We have to start selling these teams. And, I was a little bit big on the Raiders going into this week, and now I'm off of them big time. Alrighty, let's move on. 2 more games. Jacksonville and the Chargers, the only game I was right about, or I was 100% right about on my picks. We had the Chargers minus 7.5. They win by 10. I thought they would. I thought Justin Herbert would come out here and have a good game, and let's see what he did. And he did. 27 of 43. Not the best completion percentage, but it's good. 347 yards, fantastic. 3 touchdowns, fantastic. No picks, fantastic. Love to see it. Getting the ball into his hands of his best receiver, Kyle Allen. You love to see it. Kyle Allen targeted 13 times, 10 receptions for 125 yards. Love to see it. Their running game was kind of non-existent. Joshua Kelly for 29 yards. All right, their running backs are injured. No Austin Eckler, so yes, their running game isn't going to be that great. But well done. Justin Herbert didn't turn the ball over. Nobody turned the ball over on their squad, so well done. I don't know if we can say the same thing about the Jags. They did have a fumble. D.D. Westbrook lost a fumble, but Gardner Minshew didn't turn the ball over, but he really didn't do anything offensively either. It was their running game that really helped them out. But we get Gardner Minshew, 14 of 27, basically 50%, nothing great there, 173 yards, so not even over the 200-yard mark. 2 touchdowns, good. I can get behind that. No picks, good. I can get behind that. But their running game, I mean, look at this. James Robinson, 22 carries for 119 yards and a touchdown. Just running and running and running more. Never really abandoned it with 22 carries, and it kind of kept them in it. Let's look at the drive summary. Jags were competitive in the first, not the first quarter because they got down 16-0, but then they started to come back a little bit. Touchdown here, couldn't get the 2-point conversion, but they cut the lead within 2 going into half. Blocked punt goes all the way for a touchdown, so Chargers special teams getting in on the scoring, opening up the lead a little bit. Or no, that was the Jaguars. My apologies there. The Jaguars block a punt, and that goes for 6. And now the Jaguars have the lead, but they can't count on the offense. Chargers go back and score a touchdown and take the lead by 1. And then Gardner Minshew goes down and drives, and well done by him. They retake the lead, but then the Chargers are quick behind them. 2 plays. Let's look at this absolute bomb by Justin Herbert. We know he has it in his arsenal. Let's look at this one. This was like an 80-yard pass, 70-yard pass. What do we got here? Catches the ball beautifully, hit him in stride, so he's able to continue running and get the touchdown. Beautiful ball, one-on-one matchup. Justin Herbert places it right on the receiver in stride. Love to see it. So they tie up the game at 29. A fumble on the ensuing possession, and that sets up the Chargers in great position. They take advantage of a short field, only 19 yards, and they cap off with a touchdown. You love to see that. And Gardner Minshew just can't work up anything for the rest of the game, and that's it. So well done by the Chargers, playing exactly how I thought they would play, coming off the bye. Justin Herbert gets his first win. Gardner Minshew mostly gets benched next week. Unfortunate. Jacksonville Jaguars are 1-6. Chargers are 2-4 and trending up in the right direction. But yeah, well done by Justin Herbert. Good game. Very good game. All right, and that brought us to Sunday Night Football, and that brought us one of the best finishes of the night. I mean, this game was great. Scoring back and forth. Everybody was close. I mean, here we go, 7-0 Seahawks, and then it was 10-0, but now the Cardinals are starting to score 10-7, but another field goal by the Seahawks makes it 13-7 going into the second quarter. Fumble by Arizona, interception by Russell Wilson that we don't see a lot, and turnover on downs by the Cardinals, and then finally the Seahawks are able to get a touchdown, and the Cardinals are able to get a touchdown, and now the Seahawks get another touchdown, and then the Cardinals settle for a field goal, and we're looking at 27-17 going into halftime. High scoring, a lot of back and forth in the game. All right, in the third quarter, a couple of punts to start it off. Cardinals score a touchdown, cut it to a 3-point game. Russell Wilson throwing interceptions, but they get bailed out because Kyler Murray throws an interception the very next play. And then the Seahawks take advantage, and now they're up 10, and they're looking like they've won the game because there is only how much time left in this game now? I mean, we're talking about 6 minutes, 50 seconds left, and they're up 10. Cardinals go on a long drive, only leaving, what do we got here? 2 minutes, 30 seconds left on the clock, and the Seahawks are up 10. Usually this is the game. The Seahawks will just run it out, but a lot of uncharacteristic things happen in the Seahawks game. Russell Wilson turned the ball over 3 times. When the heck does that ever happen? And he can't just kind of close out the game. Unfortunate. They leave 59 seconds left on the clock. That's too much time for the Cardinals. And Kyler Murray leads them down 8 plays, 54 yards to get a field goal to tie up the game. And it goes in overtime, and it literally goes into the final seconds. A punt by the Seahawks in overtime, missed field goal by the Cardinals. I mean, we're looking at a 41-yard field goal that's just missed. I mean, that's the second easy missed field goal that would have won the game or tied the game, but missing field goals late in games. The Titans had one, the Panthers had one, but that was 65 yards, and the Cardinals have one here, 41, kind of similar to the Titans game, unfortunately. But then Russell Wilson has another chance to win the game, and he throws an interception in overtime, and then Cardinals finally end the game with a field goal, and this was 48-yarder, so made it even harder on himself, going from 41 to 48, but he makes it. So that was Sunday Night Football. Really, really wild, great game to watch. Let's break down these stats because both quarterbacks have great games. I mean, Russell Wilson threw the ball 50 times, 33 of 50 for 388 yards, 3 touchdowns. All of that is fantastic, but these interceptions just came at the worst time possible. The first one came off of when you got a turnover. You guys got a fumble on the defensive side, and then Russell Wilson, squanders an opportunity to really kind of make a huge swing. You take points away from the Cardinals, and then you add points to your own score, but Russell Wilson throws the interception. Unfortunate. His second interception came when the Cardinals just scored a touchdown. And now they're closing the gap. It was 27-24. Then you throw the interception, not good, and you were driving. You went 10 plays, 60 yards. You throw the interception. Luckily for your defense, they go and pick Kyler Murray off the very next play, and then you're able to kind of drive and score a touchdown, and now you're up 10, and that's when I thought the game was going to be over. But you leave the Cardinals too much time, and they were able to tie it up. And then your third and final interception comes in overtime, once again at the worst opportune time. Possibly could have. Where did you throw this interception? I mean, on Arizona's 48-yard line. So having the chance to drive, having the chance to win, and you squander it, you flounder. Didn't think I would see that from the Seahawks. Didn't think I would see that from the Seahawks in the game against the Cardinals. But well done to the Cardinals. A huge win. They put up a ton of points. The bend but don't break defense of Seattle eventually just breaks. I mean, when you're turning it over in overtime, when there's only a minute left in overtime anyway, that's when the Seattle defense breaks. So, yes, the Seattle Seahawks lost, but we're not going to penalize them too much for losing. So, And since we're talking about the Seahawks still with Russell Wilson, I mean, let's give it up for old reliable Tyler Lockett, the OG of Russell Wilson's arsenal here. 20 targets, 15 receptions, 200 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns. Oh, my goodness. We all fall in love with DK Metcalf, and rightfully so, but it's also fun to see, Tyler Lockett, eat out here, all reliable for Russell Wilson, and we love to see the 200 yards. Jesus. Kind of like how Kyler Murray feeds the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. Russell Wilson was feeding the ball to Tyler Lockett all game. Let's go to Kyler Murray now because he had himself a good game too. 34 of 48. Just a quarterback duel, a quarterback shootout, and, the score proved it. The footage proved it. The game was great. Kyler Murray goes 34 of 48 for 360 yards, 3 touchdowns, only 1 interception, and they only win by 3. That just speaks to the magic of Russell Wilson, right? But we have to, still penalize them a little bit. The interceptions, they cannot happen. So well done by Kyler Murray cleaning it up a little bit, but they still went to DeAndre Hopkins, 12 times, 10 receptions for 103 yards and a touchdown. Chase Edmonds was their second leading receiver as a running back. Larry Fitzgerald, he got in the game. Absolutely love it. 8 targets for 8 receptions. That's Larry Fitzgerald. He will not drop anything. He will catch anything you throw to him. So I do like that Kyler Murray is giving him more targets. So Larry Fitzgerald goes for 62 yards. Love to see it. Christian Kirk, 5 receptions for 37 yards, and he had 2 touchdowns. So well done there. Their running game kind of was very much on point. Kyler Murray, their leading rusher, for 67 yards and a touchdown, but Chase Edmonds ran for 58 yards, and Kenyon Drake, he ran for 34 yards, but he had 14 carries, so not exactly 3 yards a carry, but overall rushing game got it done by committee and with the quarterback. Russell Wilson rushed for 84 yards too. So just a complete quarterback duel, both throwing for at least 360 yards and both rushing for at least 67 yards. So truly fantastic. Great game. Unfortunately, the Seattle Seahawks lost. Well done by the Cardinals. Huge win. Well done. I mean, beating a team like the Seahawks is never easy. Beating them close is never easy. And outscoring them is never easy. So well done to the Cardinals. Alrighty, so that is week 7. Great games. Titans, Steelers, absolutely fantastic. Seahawks, Cardinals, absolutely fantastic. But yeah, overall, we will see some teams moving. Tennessee Titans will move down. Seahawks will move down. Steelers will move up. Chiefs will move up. Ravens will probably stay the same because they were on a bye. Green Bay will move up. Rams play tonight. We'll see how well they do against the Bears. That reminds me, we'll do our moneymaker in just a second. Let me finish this up. Saints are going to probably maybe move up a tad. If they do it all, they might stay the same. 49ers are going to probably move up a tad. Cardinals will move up a pretty significant chunk, and I think we have to figure out how to put the Bucks on here. So is any team going to fall off 100%? Probably not. So it's definitely going to be hard to find a team to kind of drop out of the top 10 here to find room for the Bucks. We'll see what the Rams do tonight. They play tonight. Big game against the Bears. Let's preview this game. Bears-Rams. Is the spread still at Bears +6? Because I absolutely love it. Let's see. It's still Bears +6. This is going to be the money maker for tonight. Bears +6. Absolutely love it. I don't think the Bears win, but this Bears defense has been the main reason why the Bears have been in these games, folks. It's not Nick Foles putting up 25 points a game because he can't. He can't do it. I like Nick Foles on primetime TV. I think he will play better than what he has been playing. The Rams, their offense is a little shoddy, but they're at home. I expect their offense to be good, but they're going against one of the best defenses in the league, so they're not going to be, above and beyond good. They'll probably settle in about 24 points. That's probably will be the most that the Rams will score tonight. The Rams defense is good. They'll take care of Nick Foles, but the Bears defense is going to be two big defensive stands. The final score will probably be 24-20. I'm assuming Rams win it, but I love the 6. I think it's too much. We love the Bears +6. Their defense is not going to allow this game to get out of hand. Nick Foles on primetime TV. Matt Nagy will scheme ways to allow him to get easy points to make sure his offense is not looking horrible for all the other 30 coaches and coordinators to see. So expect Matt Nagy to kind of cover up the flaws of the offense a little bit here. Expect the defense to run amok, both defenses to run amok. But I like the Rams to win at home, but I like the Bears to cover. The 6 is too much, folks. Alrighty, that is going to do it for us today here at Takes by Fans. Follow me on Twitter at Takes by Fans and be a part of the conversation. Come watch live daily, noon Eastern, twitch.tv/Takes by Fans. We will be back tomorrow where we will break down Monday Night Football a little bit more in depth. We will update our cash and trash lists. We will update our power rankings and all that good stuff. So another good show coming at you tomorrow, noon Eastern. Alrighty, that is going to do it for us today. Bet the Bears +6 and bet it big. We'll be back tomorrow, noon Eastern, y'all. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching.